right, so we're on the Newport City YouTube channel, as well as you can find this in the Newport City Matchday programs and on the website. I'm here with James Hill today, just going to have a little discussion about ambitions for the season and honestly anything in between. So first of all, I hope you're well, James.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate.
Good to hear. So just a little thing to start off. How has the recovery from injury been going for you?
Not ideal at the moment. Obviously, it's been about 10 or 11 days. Was hoping it was just a minor thing and it would recover, but it seems like it's going to be something a bit more serious. But I'm waiting at the moment for an MRI scan on it just to see the extent of the damage to my knee. And yeah, we'll just go from there. When I know what's wrong, I can make a plan on recovery.
Yeah, I mean, never like to hear that a player gets injured, and I'm sure that's kind of dwindled at your season ambitions and potentially future ambitions at Newport City. So what were your personal ambitions going into the season, and have they been affected since you picked up the injury?
Yeah, so obviously starting the season, I was going to retire this season. It was going to be my last one last year when I came back to Newport halfway through the season, which Sam's fully aware of anyway. Decided to carry on playing. Really put it into pre-season, tried to make the sessions on 3 times a week or when it was, twice a week in games. So yeah, I felt like I was getting back to my fittest I've been in a long time. So it was going well, and obviously with a lot of change around the club, Sam was obviously keen to keep me around. And he told me what I wanted to hear, so I decided to stick around. And then yeah, plan was to obviously push on. And with the squad we've got and the signings we've made, you'd like to think we're going to be up and around the top near the end of the season.
Yeah, you could only hope for that, especially with a recent form we've ran into. Talking about all the additions, has it been something you've had to adapt to and get used to? How have you kind of reacted and integrated yourself in with all the signings we've made so far this summer?
Well, they're all really top lads, to be fair. I mean, there's sort of always questions when you've got a lot of change, and it has been a lot of change. There's a lot of new players. And obviously, there's always going to be questions about your place in the starting team. Every player wants to play at this level is going to have the same issue where you got players coming in all the time. The first thing you're thinking is that you're here to take your place. But I mean, I've played in Welsh League for like the past 10, 11 years, and you just got power on through. And similar to myself, I always said to some of the boys when they come in, there'll always be injuries. You need a big squad. The amount of seasons you see where players start off and they're not getting the game time they want and they'll leave, and then things chop and change over the space of a month. And like you see my knee, and there's other players who picked up the odd nick now I've heard in the last week, and things change very quickly. So yeah, it's just it's been good though. They've been a breath of fresh air, to be fair. I think they're obviously going to kick us on as hard as it is. They're going to push us on.
Yeah, definitely. So going into, you mentioned you've had quite a long career. How was the I guess impact of being at Newport City been different to potentially previous clubs you've been at?
It's definitely got a lot more professional since the new owners come in terms of just the whole scale of everything. Like straight away, even again going back to halfway through last season when I joined for the second time, because I've been at Newport City before. It definitely felt as though things were going to take off, and obviously it was a long way to go for us to stay up last season. But yeah, it's definitely a professional club, and compared to from the previous clubs, to be fair, they have always been run fairly well for the clubs I played in Welsh League anyway.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. There's been a lot of good moments at Newport City. In terms of your own, what's your best moments been so far while playing for the club?
Probably just the final day against Ardal when we won. I mean, albeit we would have stayed up quite comfortably in the end. It didn't feel like it at the time. It was just a massive win, and from where we were at Christmas, it sort of looked doable, but it was unlikely that we managed to escape. And even with everyone, and there was obviously a few more additions other than myself, and it did look a long way off. And that was the biggest thing for us, is just staying up. It was just massive.
Yeah, I've always heard about how big it was to stay up. In terms of potentially last season, what is your kind of a mindset potentially going into a game and attempting to pick up a win?
Um, I'm always confident. I mean, it's just you always get that pre-match nerves and things like that. And the first game I was back for last season was against Lisvery, and it was a nervy, tight game, and they were obviously near the bottom, but they were within touching distance at the time. I don't know how many points above us, but that was the first game back, and you could feel it was my first game, but everyone was up for the game. And yeah, we started well and we won 3-2. And I think that was a massive turning point in terms of being the second winner of the season for the club and really kicking us on, pushing us up the league.
Yeah, so in terms of potentially people who may not know you, potentially newer followers of the club, just tell us a bit about yourself, position, the way you play, just everything in between, really.
So I grew up as a striker, always have been till I got to Welsh League when I was very young, and then I sort of was converted into a winger through my days at Pontypridd. Just purely, it's a lot more physical when you get into Welsh League and things like that, especially as a younger lad. So I played as a winger for most of my days until I tore my first ACL, and then things have changed since coming back to Newport. I've gone back to being a striker, which again I've had to adapt my game slightly and become better at holding up the ball and things like that. But I am either a striker, stroke winger. One of the reasons I had to get fitter in pre-season was hearing Matty Green was coming in, and I thought my chances might come few and far between up front. So need to get fitter to be on the wing.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of competition in the positions that you tend to mention that you've played in. So you've said you're going into the season continuing as, I'd assume, a striker, depending on when you come back from your injury then?
Yeah, I mean, striker, stroke winger. I mean, I played this season. I played the first game against Goitra up front. But to be fair, when Greeny's there, I'm going to be honest, there's a slim chance I'll play. I mean, if you hit a good run of form, then yeah, happy days. I'd expect to be in the team. But I mean, you've got a captain there, and obviously he's a hell of a player, and you've just got to do what you can. So I mean, I'm happy slotting in up front on the wing wherever I'm needed. And like you said, there'll always be a time and a place, and there'll be injuries, suspensions, there's all sorts. So you always find a place in the team.
Yeah, fantastic. So I think that's where we're going to conclude this. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe to kind of see more content involving Newport City. I believe we're trying to get 150, if that was what I heard in the last kind of interview we did. Thank you, James, for your time and taking the time to talk to me about really your ambitions and everything.
Perfect. Yeah, it's been great. Thanks for that.
Yeah. So